welcome to the LinkedIn Profile Writing Masterclass, where we're going to teach you how to write a LinkedIn profile that gets results. So we've got a few minutes now, and we've got a few people just jumping online. So please do jump in the chat roll, come and say hello. I'm going to walk through how the webinar works in a second, and the Q&A, and how that all happens. Now you'll notice I'm looking to my left here. I've got the chat roll up on a different screen, so we don't have any technical issues with this one. Had some fun and games at 12 o'clock for our first webinar when the PowerPoint froze. So fingers crossed to the technology gods that we're going to have a bit more luck with this one. But no fear, I'll go on regardless. I'm passionate about this space, about LinkedIn, about helping you guys write an amazing profile that's going to have you found online and in a job you love, or working with clients that you love. So yeah, it's going to be a great 45 minutes or so that we're going to spend together. So we'll also do a Q&A. I'll jump on and I'll stay on the line, and answer any further questions that you have. So we're just going to hear from you guys. Feel free to jump on and say a quick hello. I know there's actually a bit of a delay with the chat roll, so I'm not ignoring you, not playing hard to get. I am actually reading your messages. It just takes a little while for them to come to me, and the messages to come back to you as well. So we'll kick off with the screen share again in a moment too, to run through this presentation with you. So I also just want to say, congratulations to everyone that's come along today, who's getting involved and learning all about LinkedIn. So you've invested some time in yourself, you've invested some time in your own success, and that's awesome. So, you should give yourselves a big pat on the back. You're going to learn a lot this evening in terms of how you can get found online and how you can impress online too. So there are 332 million people, I was going to say billion, not quite, 332 million users of LinkedIn. In Australia, 50% of those actually updated their profile in the last month. So that's a lot of your competition. They're getting savvy. Not as savvy as you will be once you finish this masterclass. And the other thing, if you are a job seeker, this is important for anyone who cares about their online brand, which in my view should be everyone. But if you are a job seeker and you don't have a strong LinkedIn profile, you're actually missing out on jobs, because the way that the market works these days is that lots of the great jobs don't actually make it to, certainly not to the paper, they don't make it online, because internal recruitment teams and employers themselves use LinkedIn. They do strategic workforce planning. They look at what competencies, what skills they need in their organisation. They then go on LinkedIn and try and find those skills, open up conversations with people who have the talents that they're looking for. And, it makes a lot more sense to do that than it does to put an ad up. And if you're running an ad for a few weeks, you're only going to get the active talent in the market, so the people who are looking for a job at that particular time. And then if you don't find the right person, you unfortunately have to reject everyone, which is a bit of a lose-lose scenario. So what the smart employers do, and sometimes not so smart ones as well, but mostly the smart ones, what they do is they invest in LinkedIn and they reach out to people who aren't necessarily looking for a job, often get approached on LinkedIn. That's another thing we're going to be talking about too, because there's one thing, to be found online. We want to ensure that you're being found online for the right type of work as well. So that's a big one. You don't want any of these time wasters. You want to be found online for the right type of work. You want to be impressing the right people. As I always say, it's about finding the work that you love and living the life that you've imagined. So I've got two different times happening here, actually. One computer says I've got 3 minutes to go. Another one says 8 o'clock. So settle in. It's 8 o'clock. Hopefully you've had some dinner. You finish your commute. You're home. You may even have a cheeky vino or a beer with you. Whatever makes this 45 minutes more enjoyable. Definitely gets my thumbs up. Okay. So feel free to jump on the chat and say hello. I'm just going to say a quick shout out. Welcome Going live. Okay, so I'm going to flick back over to me now. You get to have a look at my mug for a second. Hello again. So welcome to the LinkedIn Masterclass. We are going to look at how you can write a profile that gets results. And by results, what we're looking for is having you found online for work that you love, having you found by clients that you love to work with, and increasing your online brand. So particularly if you're a thought leader or an expert in your space, you want to make sure that you have a very impressive online brand. So you're in the right place if any of those things are important to you. If you jumped on the line a minute ago, you'll hear me repeating myself, but I was just saying that we have 332 million users of LinkedIn. 50% of the users in Australia updated their profile in the last month. By the way, some of these stats I'm quoting are JobVite Social Recruiting Strategy 2014. And so it is an incredibly powerful platform, essentially, that can help enhance your online brand and get you into a career that you love and help drive your career forward. So no more me talking to the screen. Let's dive in and kick off. Okay. So as I was saying to anyone who jumped on before, I had some fun and games with our 8 o'clock today, and we had some issues with the screen. So if that's the case at all and you're not seeing my screen, having any issues, feel free to jump on and give me some feedback. Don't be shy. So basically how it works with the chat role is you can log in and, whoa, jump straight to the end there. What you can do is log on anonymously, that is, and if you want to troll me, that's the way to go. So log in through chat role. No, I'm just kidding, because I can actually block you, so don't do that. Or if you log in through Facebook, then I can really see you, and I can even private message you as well. So if I have a chance and there are some curly questions at the end, then I might be able to actually send you a little private message as well. So stay on the line beyond 8:45. So we're talking about how this webinar works. We're on the interweb. Thank you to the technology gods. Things seem to be working okay so far. So as I was saying, jump in the chat role, get involved, ask questions. Throughout the series of the next 45 minutes, there's going to be several sections where I'm going to actually call out and ask you to respond. So would love you to get involved in the conversation. And then other than that, I'll ask you to actually hold off with the questions till we end each section, because I might, answer your questions in advance. So if you can just jump in when I shout out at the end of every section, which I'll shout out as well. And then at the end, again, happy to stay on and answer any specific questions for you. Now, I will also encourage you to stick around, because if you stick around, you're going to receive a copy of the ultimate guide to writing a LinkedIn profile. So that's a cheat sheet. That's super handy. It's like a nice little summary and checklist that you can use. You'll get real discounts on having your profile reviewed by one of our expert writers or having your profile written for you. Yeah, I'm going to be upfront and let you know that at the end, and only at the end of this webinar, there are going to be some options for you to purchase. So you may find that you've learned a lot, you're pumped about writing your profile, but you'd like an expert review. Or maybe you'll find, you've really given some thought in terms of LinkedIn and what you want to include in it, but realistically, maybe you don't have the expertise, or you don't have the time, or you don't want to write about yourself. That's often the case. And then, again, we'll have discounts on how one of our writers can write a profile for you. And we have a surprise gift on offer as well. Okay, so I'm going to be really upfront now and give you the LinkedIn profile success strategy. So I'm not going to keep you hanging till the end, hoping for some gold at the end. I'm going to give it to you right now. and then tell you that we're going to delve in a lot more detail. So the killer strategy is the three-part strategy: the clickable headline, the engaging summary, and the rich media. This is a mouthful, for reader retention. So the clickable headline is all about having a headline, as the name alludes to, that people want to click through and read more. So you really have to express what industry, what niche, what you do, and what your value is in 120 characters. So there's no ambiguity about exactly what you do and what you can bring to the party. The engaging summary is, I love this piece. You see me, I get really excited, because the great thing about LinkedIn is it's your opportunity to speak in the first person to your reader, whether that be a potential employer or potential client or anybody in your niche that you're looking to impress. You speak in the first person about your why, about your accomplishments, about what drives you, and how amazingly talented you are. And we'll get to, without sounding salesy, so we'll get to that. And also we have the rich media for reader retention. Now that is all rich media, fancy word for videos and images. So basically, a picture tells 1,000 words. What we want to do with your profile is make it visually appealing, so people stay on there longer. So they get the headline, they go, wow, intrigued, I'm in. Engaging summary, they're getting to like you, know you, trust you, buy from you, engage with you, insert relevant necessary action there. And then they're going to stay on the page and keep reading because we've got that rich media on there. Okay, so this is me. If you did jump on time, you would have seen me live. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself, because not that I'm excited to talk about myself, but I think it's pretty pertinent that you understand a little bit about me and my background, and who I am to be the expert talking about LinkedIn profile writing. And I'd also like to share with you, a bit of a story about how LinkedIn has helped me be successful in my career. So basically, I started out, I say more than 15, so it's 15 plus years ago. Anymore, I'm giving away my age, but closer to 20 years ago in agency recruitment. Worked for an awesome, really professional organization for 3 years. Loved it. Great agency. I got in very altruistic motives. I wanted to help people. I wanted to help people get into jobs. Funny, I've gone full circle and ended up in the same place. So that's how I started out my career. I then went across to London, wanted to do some travel, did some travel in Southeast Asia and South America. That's another story. But I spent another couple of years in London, in Ireland and in London, working in generalist recruitment and graduate recruitment. Worked for some prestigious firms: Stockbroker to the Queen, Cazenove, Goldman Sachs, ABN AMRO, Schroders. So I was lucky. I was there at a great time, lots of fantastic opportunities. Then came back to Australia, another year in agency recruitment, starting to get a bit disenfranchised with what what agency recruitment was all about. And then from there, I actually went to Italy. I was there for close to 3 years. I was working there in a learning and development capacity. Came back to Australia, and as I mentioned before, I was starting to get disillusioned. By then, I was really disillusioned with how the recruitment agencies all worked in Australia. Now, not to say there are some great agencies, and I've got a few that I partner with, but there wasn't a lot of innovation. There wasn't a lot of strategy in terms of the way that they operated. Bums on seats, pretty uncaring approach to candidate care. So I looked for an organisation that was doing it differently, and I moved into strategic talent acquisition and internal recruitment. So there I became a specialist in what we call strategic sourcing, basically the strategies that smart businesses use to employ to get the best talent, and using technology as well. So I know how the back end of careers sites work, and I still consult in that space. So that's the applicant tracking system. I know what makes them select your CV or your LinkedIn. And then, so basically I worked my way up. There's a real values misalignment with how that organisation was operating and what I thought, what was true for me. And so about that time, LinkedIn was starting to hit the scene, and I had a profile up, and I was headhunted by 2 businesses. Now, That's pretty exciting because, I mean, firstly, it's pretty flattering when you're approached, and it gives you ammunition when you're going into any salary conversations with your employer because you know what the market rate is, you know what other people will pay you. And basically, I was talking to both of these organizations for a little while. One of them actually said to me at one stage, when I was offered a promotion with my current business and didn't take an opportunity with them, they said to me, we see this as a marathon, not a sprint. And yeah, great guys. They did get me on board. And the amazing thing about that is that, I got this opportunity to move into this consulting role that gave me the financial means to launch my business, Inspired Careers. So, really doing something that I loved. And that opportunity came from LinkedIn. And obviously how I communicated my value on LinkedIn, and then also to tie LinkedIn into my success. Just recently, only a few weeks, in fact, some of our listeners today may even have seen me speak as a keynote speaker at an event a few weeks ago. Again, I was found online and approached to do something that I really love. So, that's something that I find really, really exciting, and opportunities, I really want you to have that same success as well. So let's just check that you're in the right place. Who is this masterclass webinar for? I'm assuming if you've hung, what are we, 11 minutes now? I'm hoping you're in the right place. I'm sure you are. So the masterclass is designed for the job seeker, the business owner, and the professional. So anyone who cares about their online brand. Because with Google as well, the thing that we really need to know is that LinkedIn comes up so high in the Google search results when people are looking for you. Depending on if you do have your own business or your own blog, depends on your own SEO strategy, but it's always one of the top results. So it's pretty important. I don't have to tell anyone how important first impressions are. LinkedIn is often somebody's first impression of you online. Okay, so we're all encountering the same problems, the job seeker, the business owner, the professional. So writing about yourself can be really challenging. I work with copywriters who struggle to write about themselves. If you're not a talent attraction specialist, how do you know what makes a good profile? How do you know what recruiters, employers are looking for? And how do you, if you don't understand keywords, rich media, or applicant tracking systems like me, how do you write a profile that gets you found online? As I said, same problem for the professional. If you're not in branding, writing about yourself is still challenging. And for all of us, how do we find the time? This can be one of those things that it's on the to-do list, but it slips down. More pressing, urgent tasks nudge their way above updating your LinkedIn profile. Now I'm going to shout out to you. I'd like to know what your life would look like if you had an impressive online brand and LinkedIn profile. So if you were absolutely rocking LinkedIn and you had a profile up that could see you sought out for your expertise, headhunted by your ideal employer, or found by your dream client, what would your life look like? Sorry, now unfortunately got a bit of a delay with the chat roll. So I'll just answer some of the questions that have been, some of the comments that were posed to me earlier today. People just said they'd love to be found, they'd love to stop the hunt. They'd like to be approached, and also approached for the right roles. So, it can be a real waste of time if you're getting headhunted left, right, and center. If you do have big names on your LinkedIn profile, that can happen. So what we want to make sure is that you are going to be approached for the work that you love, to work with amazing clients that you love, and it's happy days. Now, the other thing I really, really would like you to enter in the chat roll is what you'd like to get from this webinar. So please do just feel, as we go along, as I said, punch in the questions, but I want to know what you want to get from this webinar. Having a background in learning and development, I'm all about learning objectives and making sure that those are met. What I see as the key objectives for this masterclass are ensuring that you have a profile that will demonstrate your value, will see you found online, for work that you love or to work with clients that you love, and that will impress and heighten your online brand. Okay, so we've got some comments here in the chat roll. We've got, I'd love bargaining power if I have a great LinkedIn profile and a choice between jobs, something I don't have currently. Yes, to your point. Yeah, my story, that's exactly what it gave me. And we all, I mean, it can be hard to have those money conversations. And when you've got some ammunition, when somebody's done the benchmarking for you, when you know what you're worth in the external market, it's much easier to have those conversations. And I love that point, Carla. I'd love to have clarity out there about who I am and what I do. Bang, you're absolutely in the right place, because we want to be succinctly communicating that in your headline and in your summary. Okay, Carla, and you'd like to look impressive to potential clients. Okay, you're right. Everyone goes to LinkedIn first to find out about someone. I absolutely do. Anyone I'm potentially working with, or even that I am working with. Sometimes there are people who I've been working with for a while, and I think, oh, I haven't actually checked out their LinkedIn profile. I still do it. So retrospectively, I go back and check out people's LinkedIn profiles. And I'm not a stalker. That it really is quite a normal behavior in the business world. You want to know who you're dealing with, and especially in business, the whole know me, like me, trust me, buy from me. You can build some credibility in your online profile. So we're going to also, Carla, to your point, we're going to show you how to make your profile look really impressive in terms of visually, as well as having some great content. Now, if you're here today, you might have a few concerns. You might be thinking your writing skills are not strong enough to write a good profile. You're not technical enough to update your profile and understand things like rich media. As I said before, LinkedIn is a powerful platform. You can be reasonably tech savvy and still not know your way around it. We're only looking at one aspect of today. We're not going anywhere near the sales, near the recruiter licenses or any of that. We're just looking at profiles. If you're at the start of your career, you might think, oh, you don't have a great story yet that anyone would be interested in reading about. Trust me, they will be interested if you write the right things. Or you're at the other end of the spectrum. You've got so much experience and so many jobs, you don't even know where to start. Seems like this big, hairy goal to write your profile. Not comfortable writing about yourself, don't want to come across as salesy. Maybe you haven't even updated your CV in forever. So LinkedIn is like way too hard basket. And you think perhaps maybe you're here just checking this out, kind of sussing out this kind of LinkedIn luck, and you think you can get by without a good LinkedIn profile. Surely a good CV is enough. So in response to anybody who's thinking that, it really is not enough, because for anyone who joined on the webinar just before I started, I was throwing out a few LinkedIn fun facts. And one of those is, for business owners, you need to know 332 million people using LinkedIn. In Australia, 50% of people updated their profile in the last month. So they are out there and they are getting savvy. Carla, credibility, absolutely bang on. I'll pick up on that point in a moment too. We're going to talk about testimonials, giving you more credibility as well. So Google comes up, your LinkedIn search results come up very high in the Google search results. I'm getting a bit tongue-tied here. It's been a long day. So when somebody Googles you, regardless of not whether you have your own blog or your own website, you're going to be top, or in the top few is going to be your LinkedIn profile. So you need to ensure that it really represents you well. For anyone who is a job seeker, the whole way the market operates these days has changed dramatically in recent years. So the smart organizations, what they do is they have internal talent teams, and they choose not to advertise, because when you advertise for a job, so lots of the great jobs don't make it anywhere near the job boards or the certainly not the papers, because when you advertise for a job, you put it up for a few weeks, all you get is a slice of the market that happened to be looking for a job at that period of time, or even if it's a longer period, for that 2 months. But you only get a slice, and you've got to respond to all the applications, and lots of them really aren't relevant. The best thing you can do as a smart business, whether you're a small business, and it's the employer themselves looking on LinkedIn, or it's a bigger business and they invest in a recruiter license, they're 9K, by the way, and companies all invest in them, as do agencies. LinkedIn is their number one tool for finding talent. They actually, a lot of agencies even say that Seek and those other things are almost a necessary evil they use as a backup. Really, they're using LinkedIn. And what they're doing, so the recruiters and the internal recruitment teams and the employers themselves are looking at what's going on in their next year, if they're smart, doing strategic workforce planning, and they're looking on LinkedIn, they're finding people with the competencies and the skills, the ones that impress, the ones that have their awards up there, the ones that have visuals, that have case studies. You really want to impress, and they're the ones they're reaching out to, and they're the ones that then are in a position to have some pretty powerful conversations if they want to stay where they are, to get more money or get better conditions, or to find another opportunity and find a job that they love. Mm. Oh, Ali, was LinkedIn there when you started my career? No, LinkedIn wasn't there when I started my career. We're only just using computers. But it certainly was the thing that accelerated my career in the last, let me think about when my first kind of headhunting call would have been, 8 years ago, something like that. Yeah. So, and oh my God, and now that was 8 years ago. I got amazing opportunities, and as I said, I got an amazing opportunity only a couple of weeks ago too. Hmm. Okay. How do you get the skills to make you different across to the leader without boring them? Okay, well, we're going to talk in a moment about different summary styles to make them more interesting. Yeah, because you want to inject some personality into this, absolutely. And that's another thing I love about LinkedIn. It's not like the boring, staid CV speaking in the third person, so clunky. And what it's you speaking in the first person. It's using your voice. Sometimes, I mean, the voice that you use can be determined, the level of not professionalism, but the level of how conservative your voice is, really needs to be dictated not so much by your industry, but by your preferred industry or preferred audience. But a general rule of thumb is like thinking if you were at a professional event, networking event, or just a work event, what your elevator pitch would be about what you do. Think about the way that you'd actually speak to that person. It's obviously a little bit more colloquial, certainly than what a conservative CV is like, and that's why cutting and pasting your CV is so bad. Okay, so what's happening now if you don't have an amazing profile? You basically have a poor online brand. You're underselling yourself. I'm seeing this in the chat. You're being overlooked by amazing employers. Potential new clients are not contacting you. They're contacting your competitors. That's 50% of people who were updating their profile. And your time could be wasted if you're being headhunted for the right role. So basically you're missing out. And I don't want that to happen anymore. As I said, I want to give you guys a lot of value in this masterclass. And I want to give you every opportunity to be found for the work that you love. So now, if you are thinking of actually jumping on and start altering your profile now, something that you really need to know. In fact, if you want to, you can open up another tab now where you have your LinkedIn profile so you can have a look at some of the things that I'm talking about. And so make sure, I mean, if you've just got a brand new job and you want your whole network to know, awesome. You don't need to notify your network not to publish updates. But if you're changing your profile and you're in a job and sneakily looking for another one or hoping to be approached for another one, you want to make sure, or you're just editing your profile. It doesn't look good if people see all the little edits. So change this. It's kind of over to the right, diagonally, kind of right bottom hand corner. It depends on how far you scroll down, to notify your network not to publish any changes. Now, the next thing you can see here is my LinkedIn address, so the URL. You should customize that. So originally mine would have been Kylie Butler with a whole bunch of numbers after it. I changed it to Kylie B Butler. Kylie B is actually one of my nicknames. That's just nice, simple, easy to use. I couldn't use Kylie Butler because that was already taken. If you're in sales, you could be Kylie the Sales Whiz. You know, it depends what you are, but just know that you can and you should customize it because it makes you look more digitally savvy. And as I said, you know, if you are in a creative space or a sales space, you can actually have a bit of fun with it. So going back to this LinkedIn success strategy, there are the 3 parts. So what we're going to look at first is the clickable headline. Now, before we do that, though, we're going to talk about keywords, because it's really important that you understand the keywords. Somebody in the chat there has written why the photo is so important on a LinkedIn profile page. Your profile is 6 times more likely to be viewed if you have a photo. So if you don't have a photo, wow, you're really just doing yourself a massive disservice. And we're going to talk about the photo, absolutely talking about the rich media. And we've got Ali, grad with past grades and limited experience. How can I make my profile stand out? Hang on in there. We're getting to the good bit. So firstly, you need to understand keywords and what they are. So basically, the keywords need to go in your headline, job titles, and experience to ensure that you're found in search results. The keywords are really just the specific words you use to describe your craft or technical skills. They're the words that employers and clients will use when searching for someone with your skill set. So it's super important to get these right so that you are found on LinkedIn and found on LinkedIn for the right things. So, I mean, there are a lot of really tricky ways that you can get very sophisticated with keywords. I'm going to simplify it for you because for the most part, you really don't need to do that. So examples of keywords are media buying. So say you are someone who's in media buying, you might have in your profile, I buy media for Coke or whatever client. You've got to make sure that you actually have the succinct description of what you do. Media buying, social media strategy, accounts payable, that needs to be in your profile. Your profile in terms of your experience is going to be a lot more succinct than your CV anyway. It's really quite short. It's the summary that gives a lot of life, and you bring, you highlight some of your experience. The experience section in LinkedIn isn't as detailed. So we've got, I was saying, accounts payable, accounts receivable, leadership, change management, social media strategy, SOX, MBA, CPA, if you have awards, qualifications, specific licenses. Again, think about what your potential audience, what your reader is going to be looking for. Why is a client seeking you out? What skills are they looking for? Is it your amazing ability to knit scarves, whatever it is? What do you think they're going to be searching on? What is that employer going to be searching on? As I said, he also include licenses, acronyms, awards. That's a really important thing to note because I know myself, I consult, as I think I mentioned before, I still do consult on talent attraction strategy and employment branding. And and one of the businesses I consult to actually look for the people who have won a particular media award each year, and they approach them. So don't neglect to put in any of those awards. Here's an example of some keywords. So you can have a look on LinkedIn in the type of jobs that you want to work for. You can have a look at the job boards, type of jobs you want to work for, and have a look at the key things people are looking for. I've highlighted them here: social media strategy, digital marketing, paid advertising, Facebook, Twitter. Say I was looking for someone to manage Facebook communities who was good with doing advertising. I'm obviously going to be punching in, Facebook, Twitter. So think about those key technical skills that you use. Copywriting for this one. Oh, now we've got some questions about profile photo. I'll come back to you when we get to rich media. Basically, the important thing is that it's you and it's professional. Even if it's a little bit creative, it's you and it's professional. There's no cutouts. If you do choose to invest with us, or even just invest in a review, we've got a section where we actually talk about how you can take a selfie that will work as a profile pic, and also again, we'll give you some more examples. But I've got a couple of examples today that we're going to run through as well. So here, so they're the keywords. So you need to know that they're pivotal. You need to put them in the headline. You need to put them in your experience. You need to put them in your job titles. And the headline, 120 very, very important characters. So here you can see, I'm a career coach, a talent attraction strategist, a speaker, inspiring personal success and business success through talent. what drives me is I love helping people be successful, and I love helping businesses be successful through talent strategy. So that's it. That's what I do. Hopefully there's no ambiguity. If there is, let me know. But that's, you want to really succinctly communicate what you do. If you are a real estate agent in the Palm Beach area, you might be award-winning real estate, premium real estate servicing Palm Beach area. If I'm looking for a real estate agent in Palm Beach, bang, I've got my person. So just think about that. Think about owning that niche. And we're going to give you an example of how you do that in a second too. So if you're not sure what the headline will be, now don't use your default. Obviously, your LinkedIn is going to default to your last job title. You are so much more than your last job title, and you need to demonstrate that to the world. But if you want that as part of your headline and you're looking for a particular job, then have a look at how the job's being advertised on LinkedIn, on the job boards. For example, you're not doing anything wrong if you change title there, because internal titles and external titles, what they mean in the external world, are very different. One of my consulting roles, I had the title of a solutions consultant. Like, what does that mean to anyone? Oh, someone's saying the view of the screen is fuzzy. Oh, maybe that's okay. Is this getting a little better? Okay. Let me know if we've moved on to this next screen and that's not getting better for you. Because if it is, I'm going to swap over and present to you directly. I want to make sure you guys are getting quality, and it can be pretty dull if you're just looking at something pretty fuzzy. Okay, so with the clickable headline, here's some hints on how you can do that. You can write your profile first and seek inspiration from the profile. You can use the no better. Okay, guys, thanks for letting me know. Look, I appreciate it because I really want to make sure you're not missing out. So just bear with me for 2 seconds and I'm going to continue and present to you, and we're going to continue to walk through the profile and let me know. Okay. Unfortunate. Oh, somebody's saying it looks fine to them. Okay. Okay. We've got a couple of people saying that it's looking good. Okay. So we're going to stick with the presentation to now. It's actually better if you get to see the images rather than my face. Okay, so in terms of getting that clickable headline, because at first when you sit down and you look at the headline like, oh, how do I capture everything that Kylie said I need to capture in 120 characters, you can write your profile first and seek inspiration from the profile. You can use the LinkedIn built-in comparison tool. So to the very right of where your headline is, you can click on a little box there and see what basically compare the job title. That's a pretty handy resource. As I mentioned, you could look at the job boards and search the job functions. As I was saying, be pragmatic. Don't use obscure job titles. I'm sorry to hear that the quality of this isn't ideal, guys. God, technology can be such a tricky thing. Okay. I'll make sure that you're not missing anything in terms of any. The presentation is really just indications. Hopefully, I'm getting a lot more value in what I'm sharing with you in terms of the actual dialogue. As I mentioned, there will also be a. You'll get the video of this, and you will get a guide as well, which is more of a cheat sheet, but they will be coming your way after the session today. So, and the other thing to do, give you some inspiration for your headlines. It happens when you're clicking on something. Okay, good to know. So I'm scrolling up the screen. I'll be conscious. Thanks for helping me out, guys. I really want to make sure that you get, quality and value and you're not distracted. It's probably like, when somebody presents to you and they've got they keep swinging to one side and it's really distracting. I'm probably doing the same thing to you now when you're not getting the clear visuals. Basically what happened, I had PowerPoint freeze earlier in the day, so I'm trying to find another way to make sure we don't have the kind of big technical issues. Okay, enough about technology. The only technology we want to talk about is LinkedIn. So with the clickable headline, we have, I'm going to give you a couple of formulas that you can actually use. And with the formulas, now again, if you want to purchase, then I'll give you a bunch of these, but I'm going to give you two to work with today that are really nice, handy ones. So we've got the Own Your Niche headline. So that's a great template if you want to be found online for one or two specific keywords or key phrases relevant to your industry. So the formula is keywords and specific benefit or focus area. So for example, management accountant, CPA, specialist in telecommunications and IT. Now there is absolutely no ambiguity there around what that person is a specialist in. Now another formula for people who are a little bit more creative, and this is not as prescriptive because creatives are creative by nature, the formula is who you are and who you serve and how you benefit them. So the example could be former gymophobe turned fitness nut, teaching others to love the gym. Yes, really. Look, if I was looking for a personal trainer, I was someone who didn't really love working out, and I found that someone who was really awesome and understood me, understood that. I mean, that headline really shares so much. Okay, so basically, we want to ensure that you succinctly communicate what you do. That's what the clickable headline is all about. Okay, so again, this is going to be in the guide, but that's if that's the only thing you take away, that's the important thing. Now on to the summary. Now this is the most important piece of white space in your profile. This is where you demonstrate your why you do what you do, what excites you about your work. Here you need to think about your target reader and what they need to know. So you need to basically write a high-level summary of your career and list your achievements and your skills. So now this is courtesy of the Muse. I'll also shout out to them. They've got some great summary styles. Again, if you choose to invest with me, I give you templates that you can actually work off where you really just plug the words in and you're good to go. But I'm going to give you a couple of those today. So you can write it in terms of your personality, all about you and what you're passionate about. It can be short and sweet if you're in a more conservative or technical space. Bang, 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 this is what I do, this is what my technical expertise is. It can be accomplishments-based, so this is where you can talk about really the things that you've achieved throughout your career. It can be mission-based, so this is, and now this is, we talked about for people who have maybe less experience, how do they stand out? You can talk about having a mantra that you live by. So have a look up some Henry Ford quotes and put one in there and say, something that summarizes your work ethic and what you stand for and how you work. So there are a lot of ways that you can bring a lot of life. Like I said before, know me, like me, trust me, and he will change life from me to engage with me on LinkedIn. And the blended summary is the one I'm going to give you an example of now. And that is a really nice go-to one. Now someone said, how can I use a job title if I'm a job seeker? That's a really good point. You shouldn't use the space in your headline to say job seeker or seeking opportunities. That's a wasted opportunity, point A. And point B, a lot of recruiters and employers put more value on what we call passive talent. So that is people who are not actively looking, who aren't out of work, people who are in work, but would potentially move for the right role. Now, I think that's a bit unfair because there are a lot of amazing people who are out of work for whatever reason. But unfortunately, there is a little bit of that thinking. So it's best to just really demonstrate your value and what you do in your headline. And then in your summary, though, you can put a call to action and say that you're seeking work. So that's where you put it. You put it in your summary. So now I'm going to give you an example of this blended summary. As the name suggests, the summary is a blend between a personality and mission. So all about who you are and what drives, what your mission, what your purpose is. It's perfect if you want to get straight to the facts, but also want to add some levity in your description. To make this work, you begin with your current job and a couple of work accomplishments or highlights, and then add in some fun facts. However, not too fun. Okay, nothing like my personal motto is 5 p.m. somewhere in the world. And as I mentioned before, the right tone is imagine you're talking to someone you just met at an industry event. Keep it light, fun, and professional. So remember, light, fun, and professional, speaking in the first person about your why. An example of a great summary. I'm a talent acquisition specialist with an interest in building the most effective workforces possible. For over 20 years, I've been helping businesses find their perfect hires. I also do consulting on compensation and benefits, new hire processes, and company culture. When I'm not on the job, I love hiking with my dog, working my way through every recipe in the family cookbook, and indulging in my love for seeing new places. If you'd like to learn more about how my services can help your company, please reach out to me via email. Now this one, a keyword rich compensation ban, new hire processes. If I'm an employer or somebody looking for a consultant and they're the things I'm punching in that I'm looking for. Wow, I'm this person and they sound like an interesting person. I like them. And there's the call to action. And that's where as a job seeker you put your call to currently on the lookout for opportunities and put your email address in there. Now, rich media, we're getting to some of the fun bit because in Australia, it's not really kosher to put a photo on your CV. If you're a model or an actor, absolutely, and you'll have a portfolio, but it's not viewed positively in Australia. So the US and UK different, but in Australia, no photo unless it's imperative to the job that you're doing. So a really good piece of advice is dress for the job you want. So have that photo of the person somebody wants to promote, the person that somebody wants to work with. If you have the coin, invest in a professional headshot. At the very least, get a photo of yourself up against a white wall, shoulders up, headshot, one shoulder slightly forward, a nice smile. Make sure you smile with your eyes, and that's it. Look professional, be in a blank background, or if you're in a more creative space, you can have your background interesting. You can go black and white. Oh, awesome! Somebody's got the Muse. I did credit the Muse. They're absolutely that great template example. So dress for the job that you want, and also see that background image. Now I'm going to give you a couple of tips. So with the background image, you can customize that. I'm going to give you a link in a moment to a whole bunch of free LinkedIn backgrounds that are really amazing. You can use an office, you can use people, you can use abstract imagery. If you're in an environment that is that's overly conservative, don't go for bold prints or patterns. Okay, so with the rich media, now, as I said, rich media is just videos and photos. They add life, they keep people on your page, they keep them reading. So what's appropriate? If you've got case studies or campaigns or anything, that is amazing. If you've worked on a construction or a building or a project, photos of that, photos won any awards recently, any MTV awards, photo of yourself winning an award or your team winning an award, being at a conference. It's really about just getting some nice visuals on there. The rule of thumb is obviously keep it professional. Here are a couple of other examples of what you could do. Now, so that's how we've got the clickable headline, the summary, and the media make it visually impactful, the other key thing you really need to know is that your profile needs to be complete. An all-star rating doesn't refer to the quality of your profile, it refers to how complete it is. So, and see, the reason this is so important is for somebody who's searching in the back end, the search results that are thrown up by the search algorithm is the top ones are by profile completeness, then connections in common, then connections by degree, and then groups in common. So if you don't have your profile completely filled out by their definition of filled out, you're really missing out. So to have that 100% all-star rating, you need to have your industry and location, an up-to-date current position, 2 past positions. If you're only early in your career, you can put volunteer work or any part-time casual work, your education, your skills, so a minimum of 3, a profile photo, and at least 50 connections. So that is really important, and you heard it here first. Okay. Now, what you need to do next is you need to network. Get out there. You need to be active. Jump online. Log in every day, ideally. The Muse has some fascinating content. You can get involved in the conversations. Now, I'm conscious of the time, guys, and I'm just going to run over for a few minutes. So I hope you can stay with me because I'd love to answer more questions and give you more opportunities to get a great LinkedIn profile up there. So as I was saying, get involved, have write insightful commentary on other people's articles, publish if you really want to impress, long form content. It's super easy. It's your own blog. It's free. If you've got your own blog, you can actually even copy your own blog over there and then just link back to your own website. Super easy. Takes 2 seconds. I get my virtual assistant to do it. It takes less than 2 seconds for me. It is super, super easy. So to be found online, here are the important things. Here are the key takeaways, guys. You need 100% complete profile and open privacy settings. So you're going to go secret squirrel on us, then the people who don't pay for the more expensive recruiter licenses or just more premium licenses won't get as much access to your information. They'll only see, the name and summary. So if you are open to opportunities, you need to open up your privacy settings. The clickable headline we discussed, demonstrating your value. The keywords in there, in your headline, the summary, and the experience. Join 50 groups. There's lots of fun groups you can join on there too. You can join the skydiving club, all sorts of interesting stuff. Who knows who you'll meet up with and what conversations. People also reach out to you when you get involved in groups. They see what you do and they ask your opinion on things. And publishing, again, publish your own content. So that's how you get found online. 100% complete profile, clickable headline, keywords in the groups, and publishing. Keywords, keywords, keywords. If you take away nothing else, keywords to get found. How you impress on LinkedIn. Again, that'll be in the guide for you as well. I'm conscious there's so much to absorb in this masterclass. Now, that's how you get found. How you impress on LinkedIn is by having an engaging summary, the rich media. So this is, you talking about, how awesome you are, and letting your personalities shine through. The rich media, having your accomplishments, publishing, and tailored testimonials. Now, somebody asked me a question earlier on the chat. With the testimonials, again, really easy to do. Go right down to the bottom of your profile, and when you click through, it'll actually talk you through a wizard. So it's really, really easy to reach out. But ask people specifically to refer you for specific expertise. If you know your audience, your ideal reader, potential employer, potential client is looking for you because you have a particular skill or a particular way of working, then basically what we, you want to be called out for that, and you help them out too. People appreciate it when you give them some indication of what you'd like them to say. You make it easier for them. Here are some other amazing resources I want to give you guys. LinkedIn Insights. That is if you want to get really technical. As I said, LinkedIn is a very powerful platform. You can find out all sorts of things about how anonymous users work. Very powerful. Free LinkedIn backgrounds.com. that's a way. Instantly, you're going to stand out. You're going to have an amazing, visually rich profile. And Canva.com is also really good if you want to get a bit creative and actually make your own background image. Again, if you're early in your career and you want to impress, these are some simple ways to do it. If you really want to take it one step further, you could go to Fiverr, and that is a online site for anyone who hasn't used it, where you can hire someone $5 to do things like make videos. You can make one of the most impressive profiles I ever saw. The guy made a really great little video, and it was sitting in his summary. No reason that you can't do that. Okay. Now, I'd like to know how else we can help you. So please jump on the chat. Let me know if you've got any other questions. As I said, I'm happy to stay online for a bit longer and answer any of your questions. As I mentioned, there's other ways that we can help you in addition to this masterclass. So if you jump on standout LinkedIn profiles, I'll just pop that in the chat as well, offering you the opportunity to have your profile reviewed by one of our expert writers, or actually written for you. So you may find that you're all inspired, you're ready to write a great profile, maybe benefit from some of the templates, some of the success formulas. So in doing that, we'll give you all that, make it super, super easy, and have someone review it for you. Or maybe you've looked at this and you've gone, okay, you really get the value. You know realistically you don't have the time. You're still not comfortable in writing about yourself like a lot of us. Well, we can actually write a whole profile for you. So, and because you guys have joined us in this masterclass and you've already invested in yourself by taking this time, I've got 2 special offers for you. So to have your profile written with an expert review is only $95. So it's $50 off to get found online for the work that you love or by your dream client. Or if you wanted to write it for you, it's only $195. So absolute bargains. And wait, I'm actually going to give you something more as well if you do purchase in this week that almost negates the price. Before we get to that gift, just want to let you know there are other ways that we can help you as well. If you are in particular looking for a job that, a new career, a role that makes your heart sing, there are other couple of options. So we can help you get found online and impress through a standout LinkedIn profile, or I can help you with personal coaching. Or in the new year, we're launching a couple of programs. One, Transform Your Career, another, Land That Job. Land That Job is a 4-week or 4-module tactical e-course that gives you all the skills to write a CV, do your LinkedIn, nail a competency-based interview, do a job search strategy, work with recruiters, negotiate a contract, transform your career. Now, what we do there is actually take you from understanding or not understanding what you want to do or what your next career direction might be, whatever stage you're in your career, and take you on a journey of self-discovery right through from psych testing, so really getting clear on your values, what drives you, what type of work is going to really fulfill you, right through to, as I said, the LinkedIn, the CV, the interview, right through to negotiating your contract with inspiration and motivation along the way. Now, I also want to offer you a special gift. So for anyone, so you can actually open up, you may have another browser already open. Okay. Here we go. So you may have a browser open already with your LinkedIn. You can open another one and check this out. Just going to make sure I didn't make any spelling mistakes there. Yeah, our gift to you with purchase today is a complimentary mini career coaching session, and that is the value of $65. So if you're getting a review, you're getting another $50 off at another $65 worth of value. So whether you're looking to advance in your current career or transition to a new career, we can help you. So 20 minutes, it could be a career tune-up, a reassessment of what you want to do in the new year, set your career goals, actually do some pre-work online to make sure you get full 20 minutes of real value. So that's going to be sent out to you as well. Okay, We've got somebody here. Somebody said, how safe is it to put all your information out for the public to view? Look, in your personal information, you don't need to put your phone number or anything else in there. Certainly not advocating that you have any links to, your family life or your children. Obviously, I can only recommend that you put out there as much as you're comfortable in doing. But you don't even need to put your email address in there, and certainly not your phone number. People can approach you through LinkedIn, and you get to say whether you want to communicate with them or not. Okay. And again, I think the other thing is to be guided by the industry you work in. I've got a friend whose partner is a forensic psychologist. So basically somebody who goes into jail and assesses some serious criminals as to whether they should they should be released back out into the community. He doesn't have even, any social profile, but I mean, that's such a rarity. For the most part, we're talking about people who want to be found on LinkedIn, for jobs or by clients. But again, only put up what you're comfortable in. Somebody's got here, I've not loaded my CV. However, you can enter only your skills in your profile. I'm not sure. Do you want to expand on what you mean by that? I'm not entirely sure. So if not, I might just jump on and give you a quick private chat. So there's, if you want to jump on there now, you can get that online profile happening, see yourself in a job that you love, see yourself working with clients that you love. And, also, I mean, one of the things that really drives me to do this is because, I think, obviously work is so pivotal to your happiness, because we used to think of work and life as, we talk about work-life balance, it's one or the other. Whereas now, actually, in HR speak, we talk more about the work-life blend, because the two are so intrinsically linked, and also intrinsically linked to our happiness. When we find a job that fulfills us, when we're doing something like we feel like we're adding value, then that brings us joy, and it's a ripple effect too. You're happy, someone else is happy. Before you know it, the world's a better place. Got those rose-coloured glasses on tonight, but I do firmly believe that the world would be a better place if everyone was in a job that they loved. Now, another gift coming your way. I have already alluded to this, the ultimate guide to writing a LinkedIn profile. This is in a cheat sheet form, so really it's the key takeaways in terms of what you need to know about writing a LinkedIn profile. Now, I'd love two things now. I'd love you to share what you think. You can pop that back to me in an email, because if people are asking the same questions of me, if there's something that I've missed that's really important to you, I'm going to make sure that I include it in the next masterclass, which won't be until well into the new year, but I will certainly take that feedback on board. If you enjoyed it, love to hear that you got some value. Again, if you've got anything constructive and you want to, there's anything more that I could give you in another masterclass, or to improve the quality of the information, absolutely open to hear about it, and I appreciate it. The feedback is a gift. So thank you for being here, and more so, thank you for being awesome and investing in yourself, investing the time. It's almost 9 o'clock at night now on a Tuesday night. Generally, Tuesdays are the days that people have a slump, especially job seekers. 11 o'clock on a Tuesday is the prime time for viewing on Seek, because people get pretty disillusioned on Tuesdays. Mondays, you get into work and go, oh, this sucks. Tuesday, you get in, but you think, oh, it's just because I had a big weekend or a fun weekend. Tuesday, you get there and go, no, this actually really sucks. So you guys are rock stars because you've come on a Tuesday, whether you're a business owner or a professional, whether you are a job seeker, you've made time to invest in yourself, to improve your online profile, and to be found for work. So in terms of next steps, as I said, I've got somebody saying they're unable to get the 50% discount. Okay, well, I'm sending an email out to everybody following on. So we're just going to wrap up this the video and send it out in an email, and with the details of all of those bonuses and the links, so you won't miss out. If you've got my email, because you obviously got the the link to be here right now. So don't be shy. I'm happy to hear from you. Let's now have a look at some of this. So for people who have to jump off the webinar, again, awesome. Thank you for joining us. Hope you've got some value. If you want to invest in yourself further, would absolutely love to work with you. And yeah, have an awesome evening. What's left of it. I think it's going to be hot weather tomorrow for anyone who's in Sydney too. So, and then I think it turns a bit poor. So enjoy the rest of the evening, and yeah, I'll be back in contact over the email. Just now going to have a look at the chat and see if I can answer any more of your questions. So don't be shy if you want to jump onto the chat.